Watch here, hard braking, immediately downshifts 2 gears, again helping me to maintain throttle response and maximum agility in an emergency braking situation. I'm Justin Pritchard for Driving.ca. This is the 2022 Porsche Macan, and in this video, it's key impressions from an 1,100 kilometer test drive in the dead of winter right here in Northern Ontario, where the freshly updated 2022 Macan will strut its best stuff on snow and ice. We're going to dive into a wintry test drive in a moment and look at how the 2022 Porsche Macan uses its reflexes to help inspire driver confidence in winter driving situations. But first, let's get you up to speed with the machine on your screen. Built in Leipzig, Germany, my tester's the 4-cylinder entry model with 261 horsepower and all-wheel drive. Starting price is $58,500 Canadian, and optional equipment, including the $3,370 Platinum Sport 20-inch wheels, makes it $71,500 for the machine on your screen. On your test drive, the first thing you'll probably notice is the steering. The wheel is sporty and slim, it's got thumb notches for a sturdy grip, and on the road it feels quick and responsive. In motion, this steering is rock hard, bolted on, heavy, precise, but also very quick. You only need a few millimeters of wrist movement to go around a corner, just tighten up one hand or the other a little and that's a lane change. It's hair trigger steering that feels pure sports car from the tips of your fingers to the contact patches on the Michelin Pilot Alpins down below. Next, you'll notice an immediately thick, rigid, and solid character to the Macan in motion. The machine feels as stiff as can be, no rattles or squeaks, even on rough roads in extreme cold. This helps convey the sense of high-end quality and durability which shoppers at this price point expect. Interior styling is familiar from other more recent Porsche models, and for 2022, the Macan runs the latest styling language thanks to its major update. Every Porsche now has an interior with some take on this unique theme, featuring a multi-pod instrument cluster, dash-mounted clock, central touchscreen, and Waterfall touchpad console for other controls. In 2022, this is the signature Porsche interior look, and after hours of highway driving, I appreciated how most of the controls and touch buttons are down below, on the console and out of my line of sight, which gave me an uncluttered outward view. The interior shapes and trimmings are all clean and tidy too. It's rich with detail if you're looking closely, but nothing is shouting for attention in here. In all, it's a clean, upscale, and minimal look. It all helps make this interior a great place to concentrate. Backup camera here, so in reverse, that's going to pop up there automatically. The screen's pretty clean right now, but if it wasn't, which is likely when you're driving in conditions like this, all you do is just hit it with a bit of the washer fluid for the rear window by flicking that little switch up, and it gives it a little spray. Watch. It's got a little jet on there. So here's the latest take on the Waterfall center console. This is a smooth, flat surface. It's touch sensitive. It has a bit of a click to it when you press the buttons. You've got your climate controls, heated and ventilated seat controls and whatnot here. That's duplicated over there on the other side because basically you've got a separate climate control system for each front seat. Little hard buttons, these little studded switches here to control temperature and fan speed if you like. Other functions lower down, click here for sport mode. Click here to turn traction control off if you like. That's a click and hold ordeal. And then over here, off-road mode, downhill assist mode. This is your lane keeping assist function here. Turn off the engine auto stop feature if you like, and parking assist there. So central touchscreen system down here in the center of the dash, and watch when I reach for that screen. See how those extra functions there just lit up? So there are actually proximity sensors in this screen that detect my hand approaching, and it only lights those functions up when you're reaching for the screen. And so to give you an uncluttered display, once your hand's out of there, after a moment, those buttons disappear, and that helps give you a display that's less cluttered and more straightforward. We've also got the driver information computer here, and by just rolling this little dial on the steering wheel, we can control what's displayed up on that screen and how we want it to be displayed to us. One of my favorite touches is the off-road mode that you see here. That sets you up for challenging driving conditions. You can use that in some winter driving situations as well. And so when we look at the all-wheel drive torque split meter up here on the display, see what happens when we click that into the off-road setting. That torque split is evened out between the axles. Now we've got more power going to the front. Without off-road mode, most of the power is going to the rear axle. Click that off-road mode on, it evens out that torque split, and that's going to help give you a more immediate and confident bite on slippery and challenging surfaces. It's kind of a subtle touch, but that's one of the interesting ways that the Macan helps keep you engaged with its different technologies and what they're doing. Noise levels are not the quietest for the dollar, but kept nicely in check. I could have a phone call or conversation at 110 kilometers an hour with no need to raise my voice, and it's a little beyond that before much exterior noise starts to factor into the equation. Road noise levels can be very sensitive to the texture of the surface beneath, and coarsely textured pavement can coax out plenty of road noise. Handling is flat, eager, and immediately engaging. Macan's body roll is virtually nil. And when pushed through a corner, the Macan's shocks take a set almost immediately, and then it feels clamped onto its line. Along with the quick steering, drivers can direct this machine around their favorite winding road, on-ramp, or roundabout with minuscule inputs on the steering wheel, summoning big athletic reactions from the car. It is a genuinely sporty feel. In the snow, it's seamless bite, with all four wheels being powered off the line and torque splitting to divvy up power between and across the axles. With its winter boots on, it was never long before my tester found the traction to sort out the situation, even doing some clever low-speed torque vectoring to maintain maximum maneuverability in deep snow where many all-wheel drives like to plow wide. At times, I did wish the traction control system was a bit more lenient, even in sport mode. Specifically, some situations solvable with a bit of extra wheel spin can instead see the traction control cutting power. So in a few specific settings, some drivers may find it a little overbearing. Still, even on a full day of snow day driving, I had no major gripes with the Macan's ability to find and extract traction from the surface beneath. The ride leans deeply into the sporty side of the ride quality spectrum, though some fine-tuning of the suspension helps mitigate typical complaints. The Macan's shocks are quiet under fire and have a carefully controlled layer of softness on the outer edges of their travel. This gives way to their firm and sporty core in a controlled manner. So even on crumbling backroad surfaces, ride quality stands up surprisingly well for a machine with reflexes like this. There's less noise and less harsh smacking of the wheels and suspension than I expect in a sportier crossover. It feels tough, not fragile, meaning I can cover rougher ground more quickly and with less stress. Again, it's all about inspiring confidence. Braking system performance backs this up. The brake pedal action is very sharp, precise, and eager. The brakes can be triggered into a hard bite with a surprisingly small pedal input, and there's virtually no dead space at the top of the pedal's travel. The brakes are also easy to modulate, and to put all of that simply, the result from the driver's seat is a braking system that feels and performs like something out of a sports car. And like the handling and all-wheel drive system, this intends to help you enjoy a more athletic driving experience. Harder braking even triggers aggressive downshifting from the transmission. In an emergency braking situation, the tachometer flitting away in the driver's lower vision is a reminder that the Macan is maintaining hair trigger throttle response if you need it by keeping the engine's revs up. That's one of a few subtle signature touches you'll find all over this machine's driving experience. Of course, with a Porsche, we start the engine here on the left. My tester ran the entry engine, a 2-liter 4-cylinder turbo good for 261 horsepower, or 13 more than the 2021 model year unit. The same engine update adds 22 more pounds of torque for 295. You can actually see the air intake system that is built into this front bumper and hood here. So we're pulling in air from the front bumper area. It's going to pass up through this opening in the front cowl for the hood. You can see how that's sealed off there with this rubber seal on this particular shape of the hood here. And then there are these two passageways there for that air to flow through where it moves into these two openings here, which seal against the airbox there. And so that is kind of a ram air Porsche Macan style, and that helps make sure this 2-liter engine is always breathing fresh, cool outside air, which helps it perform better. So here's a quick look at the entire Porsche Macan engine lineup. This is a platform designed to handle engines with upwards of 430 horsepower. With 261, the 4-cylinder option is nicely suited to a light-footed, efficiency-minded driver. It makes plenty of smooth torque down low, and it works hand-in-hand with the 7-speed dual-clutch PDK transmission to upshift early, keep the revs low, and maximize efficiency. So if you're a light-footed driver primarily concerned with good fuel mileage, it's a great setup. More enthusiastic drivers will want to be using sport mode and plenty of throttle. Do so and you access a pleasing blend of big torque and relatively high revs that makes this engine that much more fun to work hard. With punchy torque down low and the better part of a 7,000 RPM redline, this engine's power curve is delightfully entertaining. Open it up and power is delivered smoothly and seamlessly. The engine makes some awesome burbling sound effects during millisecond upshifts enabled by the paddle shift transmission, itself capable of delivering serious entertainment value by way of its lightning speed, imperceptibly smooth shifting. That's another signature element of the Porsche driving experience. The 4-cylinder Macan is capable of solidly shoving 4 occupants into their seats, provided drivers aren't shy with the throttle or revs. Still, I would tell you the most enjoyable part of driving this machine is the handling feel and its reflexes, and the way the driver can pick up on all of the technology working beneath them to help process challenging winter driving conditions. So I don't think firepower and acceleration is the key draw to this machine, but if you don't find the 4-cylinder engine enough, you've definitely got some options. Some 60% of Macan shoppers will call it their first Porsche. If you're one of those, expect point-and-shoot wintertime traction, a great taste of Porsche's athletic character, and reflexes that inspire confidence both in the snow and in the back roads. Well, that's everything I can tell you about the 2022 Porsche Macan. My name's Justin Pritchard for Driving.ca. Don't forget to hit that like button down below if you learned something new. And until next time, take care and drive safe.